Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fairway Media coverage of the 2020 Rat City Rumble. Our PDGA seats here in Seattle, supported by Innova. Round 2, MPO Action Part 1. I'm Justin Banks. Here with me is MVP's Tyler Trott.
Yeah, Justin, thanks for having me. This was back in March. This was before all the COVID shutdown happened everywhere, so it's fun to remember the olden times when things were normal.
Absolutely. So we've got Matthew Zlatich on the box here. He's our Prodigy local. He scored 10 down on that 20 holes that we just went through this morning. Now we're in the afternoon, a little warmed up.
Yeah, he's ripping a big thumber up the hill there. That's with the Prodigy X1. He's actually also a member of the Prodigy Street team, so he's throwing all Prodigy plastic. All right, I'm coming up here second on the tee. Sorry about the loud pants if it's distracting for anybody. This was I picked up some nice clothes over the winter, so I was excited to bust out some new gear.
I think those pants are fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually matching my driver here. I'm just throwing a neutron bolt and just trying to get something relatively straight and up the hill. My drive, I pulled a bit to the right. I don't know if you quite see the finish. It skips up the hill a little bit. Not a great area, but shouldn't be too bad to get up and down. Third on the box here is Lucas Latta. I've played with him several times. Just a couple weeks before this, he was going shot for shot with Paul Ulibarri up on Whidbey Island. He was the TD of that event.
Oh, really? Cool.
He's also on the Prodigy Street team. He's I would say an up-and-coming player. He has a pretty high PDGA number. His rating is definitely on the rise. He's got quite a bit of skill.
Fantastic. So his drive, goes right, and I think it's a little wet.
He actually stuck in the mud, I believe. We'll have to see his exact spot, but I believe he made it up just barely safe on that edge.
Wow. I guess he'll have some mud to wipe off on his side of his shoes then.
Yeah. Here we have Josh Hatcher. He's coming out here from the Spokane area, so from the opposite side of the state. He's throwing a nice flick, but it gets knocked down a little bit early in his flight. He's tied for the highest rated player here.
Yes. I have filmed him once before, but I lost that coverage, so I'm going to move on quickly. I've got Tanner Dorner on the line, on the box, excuse me. He's going to rip a forehand, see how well he does here.
Yeah, Tanner is definitely the biggest arm on the card, and he throws what I would say is a pretty ideal shot for a really tough-to-access pin. So he's way up the hill by the basket.
I'm pretty sure that was a Firebird, and it was a laser beam where it needed to go. That was freaking textbook.
Yeah, it was an absolute rip up there. Oh, you're getting a pants shot. Oh, man, I did not know that was coming.
Yes.
Yeah, so I believe Lucas was just safe, and he's kind of sliding his upshot. He leaves it a little bit short, but he should have kind of an edge of circle look at the pin. And Josh's forehand, he puts it where you want to be. He's right by the bucket.
Let's see if we can get a 2 up here. There's a little uphill upshot.
Zlatich actually finished in a good spot. Yeah, his overhand got way up there. And I'm lining up an entropy here. I had kind of a flat look at the pin, and I felt like I went pretty soft, but I actually went a solid like 30 feet past the pin, kind of on a downslope over there by that fence that you can see. All right, so Lucas is lining this up to save his par. I believe he's putting PA3s. Oh, and just off the front rim there.
Tanner, great, great 2.
Yeah, quick out the gate. That's a great 2 to pick up. The rest of us here, I think we'll just have, well, a couple other folks have tap-ins. I wasn't super excited to step up to mine with a bit of a tester putt on the first hole. I'm putting with neutron firm anodes.
Great shot.
That one came a little high and hot, but it thankfully stuck. I was happy to have that one. A little bit of a confidence builder.
And the bogey for Mr. Lucas, unfortunately. He'll have to fight back a little bit.
Yeah, that hole can definitely steal a stroke up in this long position. There's plenty of stuff in the way, and it's an awkward line to get all the way up there.
So hole 2 is 282 feet. We get to see the drive here from Tanner Dorner. Oh, unfortunately, it kind of pulls it.
Yeah, there's a nice hyzer line or a straight shot to the basket. I think Tanner just pulled that one just a bit off to the right side. So Matt's going to probably line up something, I'm guessing, overstable here, or potentially a putter line. Looks like the putter line, kind of shooting straight at the pin.
Right at the walkway. He'll have a pretty decent approach there for his 2.
Yeah. I'm reaching for a resistor here, and I'm trying to throw it out on the right side, but I come up, we're all kind of missing our lines a little bit. I come up a little inside and skip pretty hard off to the left.
I was hoping that was going to do an Anheuser skip, but no, it kind of definitely did not.
Yeah, I stabled up and missed my line a bit. All right, next up is Josh, and he is sort of following me off to the left side over there.
Wow.
But there's a clean look from over there, at least, if you get
between those
far
trees,
enough.
which is a very hard line to do.
Yeah. So none of us have really gotten the shot here. This can be a bit of an ace run. Let's see what Lucas can pull off. He's going a little higher, a little straighter, and it looks like it's swinging. And he's deep, but in a great spot.
It looks like he went around the fence and back through. Maybe a little
yeah, he's in a good spot looking back at the pin. So Tanner, he's obviously, he's got a big arm. He showed it off on hole 1. He can also drain some big putts too. So let's see what he can do from what I would guess is probably 70 feet or so.
Ooh, good run.
Yeah, just past the basket. Good look, easy comebacker.
Ooh, great forward motion on that. Excellent.
Yeah, I was happy to pick that one up. I missed a shorter putt on this hole in the first round, so I felt like I needed to give it some payback in round 2. So
good job. All right, here comes Mr. Hatcher.
Here's Josh, and just off the left side and just a touch low. Just barely snuck it over the rim, but wasn't able to stick it. All right.
Oh no, Matt wanted that back immediately.
Yeah, it's easy to do it. These DGA baskets with the high cages, they can sometimes lull you to leave them a little bit low. The chains are skinny and the cage is large, and oftentimes people end up hitting the cage more than the chains. So Lucas has this for his 2. He's in a great spot after his drive. And he sticks that one.
Yeah, he puts his low laser in there and it's sunk right down. It was pretty standard for these guys. That was nice and high. It went straight down, luckily.
Yeah.
Good job, Tanner.
So on hole 2, it looks like we'll have 2 birdies, 3 pars. I know those all those players taking pars will be a little bit disappointed walking away. That's one they definitely want to pick up. So we'll see what we have stepping into hole 3. Hole 3, another kind of short hole, another little hyzer hole. I'm reaching for a resistor here, and I was actually pretty happy with this out of my hand, and it's even tough to see on camera. I caught a tiny little branch that was not really visible from the tee, just hanging down, so that cut me down early in the flight. So Lucas is throwing a smooth shot here, pushing down the right side and swinging back left. That's about picture perfect. Beautiful little hyzer.
Here comes Tanner.
Yeah, Tanner, I believe, reached for a zone there, and it just got caught up on that right edge. He kind of stuck in kind of the corner of that woods there. Next up is Matt.
Mr. Team Hood Chain.
Yeah. And his hyzer was looking great from the tee, but I think it stalled out just a little bit early.
With a circle edge, but he'll have just one obstruction in the way. Let's see if Tanner can poke out of here.
Yeah, so Tanner kicked in quite a bit and had quite a rough area to get back out. So he's probably got a solid 80 to 90 feet here left to go.
And,
he gives it a bid.
Yeah, he'll have to settle for negating that early birdie he had on the last hole, that bogey here.
Yeah, I'm up here about 70, 75 feet, just trying to give it some type of a run.
Oh, wow. That was fantastic. It just slid right in.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was just trying to give it enough to get it to the pin. I really didn't have much hope for that one going in.
That's some good momentum. Let's go.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah, I was super pumped that ended up falling and that I didn't lose a stroke on this hole. All right, so from over kind of on Circle's Edge here, we have Josh trying to punch one through. Hit it. Oh, and just kind of catching that upper, there's no band, but kind of catching those upper nubs putt there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh.
Just
yeah, similar result for Matt there, just, yeah, leaving it on that high side.
Yep, there's the bogey. We'll have to move on quickly in the mind.
Yeah, Tanner has a big arm, and I think on some of these later holes here, he'll really get to show that off. Some of these shorter ones, just the touch shots, weren't going his way here early in the round.
And Matt just can't catch a break. He's got to just put that behind him as well. Dang. All right. Josh gets the par. Not too bad.
Yeah, so pretty quickly here, we started this round with a really tight grouping here, and I was able to pull in the lead by 2 strokes here after starting in second place. So I was feeling pretty good. I wasn't at this point keeping track of any scores or anything, but was happy to start with some 2 early birdies.
Yeah, I can definitely relate with the keeping the blinders on. Sometimes you just got to stay within your game. I definitely understand. So hole 4, we got 279 feet. A little bit of downhill. I'm sorry. We have got 1 obstruction. It's kind of even.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting pin position.
Yeah,
this hole has
camera too, so that
has a little bit of a pucker factor as well. I'm reaching for an axis here. I'm just kind of trying to throw it high and stall it out and land it relatively flat.
And this is the
out of my hand. I really like this hole.
Yeah, they did
I
change
really like
the
shot
basket location too.
Yeah. I did end up quite a bit short, and it looks like I kicked a bit backwards. I was really hoping to get a little bit more push forwards there. So I've got an obstructed look from probably circle 2. Right.
And Lucas goes high. Let's see if he can fight through. Oh, a little bit.
He kicked out to the edge, which is super helpful on this pin. For being not super long, this is a demanding line to get all the way down there. You really need a disc. I think you're seeing a lot of us. Yeah, flip up some mid-ranges and try to land them straight.
Wow.
And a good shot looks a lot like that.
Laced it, Josh. Wow, that was fantastic.
Yeah, a great little pull there, too. Beat both the edges and make it all the way down there. All right, here's Tanner. I believe he might have been reaching for a buzz here. A nice little straight shot and a similar shot and a pretty good result there.
Looks like we're going overhand again from Matt. He does a lot of overhand shots.
Yeah, he's actually coming off of a tournament win. I believe the weekend or so before, down at Gaffney's Grove. He was a champion there. So he's coming off of a hot.
Absolutely true, and I also have that coverage coming up soon. So stick around for that. His first MPO win on film, both rounds. So
awesome. Yeah, he's quite a scrappy player. He's got quite a few shots. Lucas there, kind of pitching up and sliding it just past the basket. A little bit of a heat check here for me, probably about 45 feet or so. And I liked it out of my hand, but just swung it a little bit left.
All right.
Yeah, Matt's putter's not really cooperating with him early in the round. We'll see if he can get things straightened out here as we keep pushing along. So Tanner's got some obstruction, so he's leaning out to get his look.
Oh, he hits a top part of the top. What is that?
Yeah.
There's not really a band there.
Yeah, those kind of upper nubs.
Nubs, yes.
It's really playing the lottery, and your odds aren't very good. These baskets can be tough.
Oh no, it's just too powerful. It just slipped through.
Yeah, and Lucas's putt, potentially a little bit am side, but looked like a good putt to me and just didn't stick.
That one goes low and in.
Yep, so Matt's able to clean up his par. I'm just lining up here to get my comebacker, and I'm not sure.
Very interesting for me. I got to be lazy and just stay in one spot for all of you guys, just to do the same putt.
I took some extra time there because some of the difficulty some of the other players did. I might have even stepped away from my first time looking at that putt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this basket.
That just curled like you were just showing. Wow.
Yeah. It certainly didn't want to cooperate.
I definitely change I adjust my strength of putting when playing here, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is in the right position now, I believe, or does it stay?
Yep, this is up to the right. So this is probably around 255 or so, and behind that little split tree. Yeah, we get a good shot of it here. Good camera work to pull that one in. So once again, same as last hole, I'm reaching for an axis. It flies quite a bit like a beat-up rock or something like that, really neutral, kind of light flip-up flight. I'm just trying to give it a good pull and beat that tree by either side. So sent
Nice
that one, and it
pull.
looked like it was turning a little bit, but it was able to kind of settle out and check up.
That's a perfect
kind of
nestling area right there.
Yeah, good circle's edge putt. Hopefully I'll have a nice look there. So Tanner has a super strong backhand and forehand. He's opting for the forehand here and throwing a big flex.
Wow.
But it looks like it's kind of...
That could have went in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, he was pushing a bit down the hill down the left side, and he got it kicked back to the right. So we can see the underside of the disc, so we know that Matt's reaching for another overhand shot.
What?
And he got a really strange ground reaction. That almost just took a direct bounce sideways.
That must have hit a root or something.
Yeah, some irregularity that knocked him sideways. I believe this is an X3 out of Lucas, something he likes to throw straight and far, and for him, he just turned it over a bit. That's the common miss for the forehand shots, is just swinging them a little bit wide.
Looks like a buzz, or certainly a zone of some sort.
Yeah, I believe that's Prodigy's zone. That's an A1 coming from in there.
A1, thank you.
Yeah, they're super overstable. I believe this would be a zone coming in from Tanner. All right, and Matt's got a nice little tester putt here. See if he can get his putt going.
Hit metal.
And yeah, just a touch low there, but a good run.
Nice little downhill, 12 to 18 footer.
Yeah, this one had me thinking a little bit, just with the water in the background, a little downhill. I was trying to get it just right.
Yeah, you hit a nice hole.
Basket stuck it.
Yeah. Good shot. Here comes Mr. Joshy, going uphill. Pretty similar distance from you, from what you just had. Ooh, crawls over the nubs.
Yeah, we're kind of testing the edges there.
Seeing what you can get away with.
Yeah. So our card's got some tap-ins here. This hole is kind of the last of the short starter holes, and the hole we're going to step up to next is a little bit more of a distance challenge than our first one here.
Yep, hole 6. These guys really get to show you where that line is. Get around that tree and really pump it.
Yeah, we have the large green tree that kind of blocks the basket, and there's also this early gap that's kind of this scrubby brush that can certainly affect your lines. A good flex shot or anything you can get up there with a good amount of power is the way to live. Josh throws a really nice shot there, pretty close to ideal. He is just a little bit wide right, but he will certainly have a nice little look at the basket there. I'm reaching for a neutron trace, and I'm trying to give it a full pull.
Great shot.
In my warm-up round, I hit it just perfect and was super pumped. Here I came up just a little bit short. I'm in a good spot though, so I'll have a look at the pin.
Excellent, excellent. Here comes Tanner. See if he can get a similar result. Ooh, good hyzer flip. It stays low.
He has got all the power.
Oh, but it misses it like a champ.
And unfortunately, he gets ground play to go well past the basket, so he's kind of up in that back corner, but on the same level as the basket.
Excellent results. Let's see what the overhand man does.
Yeah, this is the other trusty X1. I've heard from the Prodigy players that these are the best thumber disc out there, apparently. I know that there's some Team MVP members that have some overstable discs that they like. Matt leaves that one just in front of the tree. He'll have a little bit of a chip up to get to the basket. I'm not certain what sure what Lucas's distance disc of choice is, but I'm guessing it's something from the D series. He's getting a nice big run up here and putting a full pull on this one. Get some early turn, trying to get it to sneak, and it did. And it's swinging back.
Nice, pretty decent
and
result.
Just barely getting cut down late. Yeah, not a bad spot at all. That tree is really a big dividing line between having a fairly easy up and down and having a challenging one. So as long as that tree doesn't block you too much,
that's a valid.
It's not too bad of
very good point.
Approach work.
Yeah. And
so that is not a full committed putt from Lucas.
I was going to say, I think he meant to lay up there.
So I'm looking at this one from Circle's Edge here. Trying to keep pace. I felt like I'd picked up a lot of birdies here, so grab my anode, trying to commit to this one fully.
Ooh,
I'm guessing I must have been outside the circle because I gave it a little jump. Trying to remember back to March to where these exactly landed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there's 5 people on the card, I usually cut out as much of the warm-ups or walk-ups to the, yeah.
Gotcha. Great pickup there by Tanner. That's a good power hole for him to pick up, and one that he's probably happy to get. And Josh, he put his nice and close, so shouldn't be too much trouble for him here.
Clean.
Nope, sticks that.
Great drive, great birdie, good results.
Yeah, a couple really nice birdies. I've got a bit of a comebacker here, and thankfully I put that right on the pole.
No damage. Keep your two-stroke. Or now you have a two-stroke lead. Hatcher got one right there.
And we have Matt here. He's got this one to clean up.
He'll keep it.
Leaves it low,
Nice.
but the basket agrees with him that time.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucas with his comebacker as well. Puts that firmly on the pole.
Ooh, he didn't trust it.
Yeah, he had a bit of zip on it, so it
He's
stuck
like, what's
down.
going to happen? And hole 7. I think they moved this to the left position, did they not?
Yes, this is in a tough spot here. So we see Josh kind of pulling his over to the right side. Thankfully he has room over there to land safe, but he didn't pull it a bit to the side. This is up in a really precarious spot off to the left, and there is a Mando down the left side to force you to go kind of up this center gap here. So Tanner, I bet you, is reaching for most likely a mid-range, just trying to get something to finish straight.
He hit something on the back side of that tree and went straight down.
Yeah, there's a lot of little branches and things that can catch you there. So I'm reaching for what's a new disc in my bag at this point. Was a Neutron Matrix.
Okay.
It's pretty stable. This one in particular, a lot like a new Rock 3 or something like that.
Nice. Okay.
There's a bit of breeze, and I was kind of expecting the wind to push it a little bit. And so I'm trying to line up straight down the gap, and I unfortunately let it go with a bunch of hyzer, and I knew right away that it was going to be really pushing that side.
Oh wow, you really cooked it.
And just a big nasty skip off to the left. Really needed to flatten that out quite a bit more. It really flew overstable for me. So
you'll have a decent putt from that angle for 3 though. Here comes Matt. Looks like he's thinking it's long. It is pretty long, but he's probably going to be happy with that.
He catches a nice skip, and it's really tough to guess. That hill slopes away quite a bit, so we aren't sure if that disc is out of bounds long, if it's still rolling around behind the pin, or where exactly he finished.
So cute angle, yeah. It could be in the results right there. Here comes Lucas.
This is Lucas. I believe he's throwing an MX2 or an MX3, kind of one of their straighter mids there. He puts himself in a really good spot. This pin really has some teeth where it's sitting at, so getting anything in that neighborhood is great work. All right, so Tanner is reaching for a putter here for an upshot. He leaves it a little bit down the hill there. We'll have to see how much distance he has coming back. And coming from the complete other side, that's Josh chipping one up.
Yep, he's just going straight to the bottom so he doesn't have as much damage as he needs, you know. They mitigate as much damage, excuse me. Here comes Tanner with a good 60-footer. Maybe 50.
Yeah, just not quite a full release there to get all the distance that he wanted. So actually, we're walking up to our lies here, and we had actually realized that the shot that Matt had thrown that had cut behind the pin rolled all the way around and was essentially parked. So he had essentially a drop into on what was a very scary look. All right, so all 5 of us here have pretty much tap-ins. And Matt's going to be the only one that's going to be taking home the 2. A great result after his shot, finishing kind of on the other side of those trees and rolling its way around the pin.
I would agree that that's one on the field for sure.
Yeah. So as quickly as that went, my lead is down to 1. I unfortunately took a bogey, and there was a birdie on the card, and lost a bit of a stroke there, and decided to very quickly get that hole out of mind.
The Lakewood Hills took a bite.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're getting into a hilly section of the course here. This hole is 326, but plays, I would say, closer to 350 or potentially even 375 up into that hill. So Matt threw his overhand up to the gap. Lucas is looking to throw a driver, pushing something sort of flippy, but it kind of gets an air bounce and looks to be cutting off to that left side. It's not too bad over there, but definitely not
over some stuff. Yeah. Ooh, a little low for Josh. We'll be with you.
Yeah.
Luke?
He puts a good move on it, but yeah, just leaves it a little bit low. Once again, another hole that favors a little bit of power, so Tanner's in a good spot here. He's throwing something kind of low, looks like with a fairway driver, and just kind of flips it over to the right edge. So he is safe, but
it's a little bit of arc, it looks like.
A lot of distance left.
Yep. What are you throwing here?
So I was coming off a bogey here. I'm reached for my same trace that I threw, I want to say 2 holes earlier.
Oh,
so
okay.
this is my
fun to learn your
distance
bag.
disc. Yeah, it has a little bit of turn, but if I force it over on turn, it will hold that line for quite a bit of its flight. So I'm trying to power one there, and I'm really aiming for that big tree, and it turned over pretty nicely, and actually kind of scuttled up towards the pin a little bit. So I had about 20-25 feet looking up at the pin.
Yeah, that's a real good result.
So we'll have some scramble. Oh,
almost
I was speaking too soon there. I was going to say some scramble shots, but that was almost a nice little toss in there.
So Luke gets a little Anheuser floater.
Yep, tossing a PA3 again, another good run at the basket. And Matt has a kind of a longer uphill look here. He can run this as hard as he wants. He has a nice backstop. When you play this hole, what do you try to throw off the tee?
I try to throw my Shrike or a beat-up Destroyer to keep it right in the middle. My distances aren't quite up past the into the park yet, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm happy to have a look here. So it's a little bit uphill. I'm just trying to talk myself into keeping it nice and flat and getting up into the chains, and hopefully erase the stroke that I lost on the hole before.
Ooh, great shot. Keeps it nice and low. Pro side. Drops in for a deuce.
Yep, so I was able to kind of earn my stroke back there, so I was feeling pretty decent so far about what I had done. Unfortunately, I left my bag way back in the fairway, so I had to scramble way back down the hill.
This is a good 2 to get. Not a lot of people get it in my viewings.
Yeah, you can kind of see from here, a lot of those little branches will knock down quite a few drives that try to sneak their way up to the pin. All right, so we have cleanups here. Everybody else looks to be tapping in a pretty routine 3.
Yeah. Sometimes they're routine, sometimes they're bouncing around in there. So we gotta not take it for granted anywhere here for sure.
I won't go too hard on any of the baskets here, but they can certainly they can give and they can take.
Yeah.
So hole 9 here is about 250 and uphill. The key for me at least is to really use this ground to slide as much as you can. I missed a little bit inside, but I was able to slide up to about 20 feet. So Matt's kind of following my same line, but with a little bit more hyzer, and he got caught up a bit early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here the distance, it's not so much about the distance as it is just about matching that line and hitting that, hitting the disc super flat. So Luke's also kind of hyzers out a bit. And Josh, he also was able to sneak it around the tree. That's probably most people's intended line there, is to kind of push it on that right side of the tree and let it fade late. And Tanner's kind of joining the rest of the pack, fading out left a little bit early.
Mm-hmm. He's got a similar shot that I believe Sarah had first round.
Yeah, it's not unusual. That kind of grouping of trees seems to collect a lot of shots that start to push left. So Matt's giving that a run. I would say, though, of the sides, that left side where we're at right now is actually much easier to scramble from sometimes than that right side. That can really block you and leave you with absolutely no ceiling.
There's also more hill to deal with as well.
Yeah. So Lucas does catch a couple trees on the way out, but he does end up pretty close to the pin there. So Matt has this one for his comebacker, probably about 20 feet or so.
Yeah, just a little back ticker with that tree. Not much of a straddle, but he had to do that. Get that putt out the way.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so my shot kind of snuck up there, so I was happy to be relatively close here. And I'm just taking my time. Any of these putts, especially off of level ground, I take my time to set up. If it's nice and flat, I'll go pretty quick. But if it's not, I'll take my time.
We're all allowed 30 seconds. You should definitely get in your routine. Well done. You're flowing.
Yeah, so coming off a bogey, picking up 2 in a row. And looking at the scores now, it looks like my lead's back to 3 now. So I felt at this point like I was doing okay. I know I had gotten a couple early birdies and was just trying to keep that bogey as far behind me as I could. Yeah,
we got some treacherous possibilities coming up here. So hole 10 is the last of the first half here. 264 feet downhill. Keep it narrow and low. Hopefully you won't angle down and go to the baseball OB.
Yeah. On this hole, everything is going to push down to the right late. So what I was actually doing here, I believe I was reaching for a photon. So I was reaching for a really fast, pretty overstable disc, and just trying to get it left of the pin and let it roll down to the pin, actually.
Gotcha.
I wasn't having good luck throwing the straight shot. We'll see a few players going for that now.
Wow. He got really
Josh kind of gets caught up. Yeah, Josh kind of gets caught up and knocked down in the middle. A lot of those shots you'll see roll all the way down to the right side. So once again, I think there's a little bit of wind coming through right now. Matt gets kind of a similar result there. Yeah, Matt gets that similar result, kind of lifted up into the ceiling and then knocked to the right. So we'll see what Lucas lines up here. Looks to be kind of a mid-range play, and he out of his hand is not happy. And he gets kind of that typical kick that you see that bounces you pretty far down to the right. All right, and Tanner, he's pushing his low, but once again, kind of getting caught up. Yeah, kind of getting caught up and pushed.
Yeah, there's some taller grass on that side, it looks like.
Yeah, it's unusual to see many discs stick up that high. Almost everything takes a bit of a roll back down to the right. So here's Lucas. He has stayed safe, but he has some work to do to get kind of around some of these trees and down to that pin, which is kind of hidden behind the hill. Now we can see the pin over there. He did kind of get caught up partway through that flight.
One of my favorite shots is going against a hill like this.
Yeah.
See what he does with this.
The bucket.
Holy moly.
Oh my.
What a huge putt. I actually did not remember that one at all. That's a great pickup and definitely a bonus birdie after a drive that he probably wasn't too happy with. That's all of probably 80, 85 feet, if not more.
Gosh.
Maybe even more. He's still making his way to the basket.
That's one of those moments where I'm like, why didn't I have a catch cam? That's so nice. I want every angle of that beauty. All right.
Next time, right? Next time.
Yes, we definitely have one in the next. It depends on the tournament, but yeah.
Gotcha. So a very high to low putt there for Tanner. He does land pretty close to the basket there. And now we have Matt. He also was over kind of down by the right side. He took a bit of a roll and chips up really close to the pin there.
Exactly, perfectly under.
Yep. So I'm here, and I definitely have a low ceiling, and I'm thinking about that low ceiling quite a bit, probably too much here. So I'm taking my time and trying to get this one lined up and give it as good of a run as I can to get to the pin. So I get the ceiling right, but I just push it down the right edge.
You can see it.
Have to settle with his bogey. Yeah, Lucas was way up here. He has to spot it. We have zero cares about the 2-meter roll, so we just mark it here.
Oh, red.
Yep, we're in Washington, not California, so we're getting him spotted up, and yeah, no stroke penalties there for being caught up high. I believe we knocked it down with a water bottle or something right after he steps up to his putt.
Nothing.
Yeah, some of these pine trees can really grab discs. Thankfully, it's not too big of a hurdle that we have to face all that often.
Yeah, and there is a disc golf shop on site, so if you need to replace it, you can take care of that business right away. And return things you find, of course.
Awesome, yeah. So I've got this little downhill chipper. I'm just trying to make sure that sinks. All right, so I pick up a par there. And at the end of the round here, I am in the lead by 2, but we have other players that are very much in the mix. Really fun front 10. I'm looking forward to seeing the back.
Excellent. Tune in, guys. Fairway Media is bringing it right for you. Thanks again for sticking around.